Okay, it's the end of another week and we have some electrical work that's been happening. So you can see the back panels have started to get put on in the utility room. They actually have their covers, so if I get close enough, that's an outlet. So all the outlets in here have been done, but we're still waiting for the ceiling lights. And this room and the kitchen actually got yet another coat of paint from Francis, because at the last minute we were reminded that we need to use a paint that is good for humidity and moisture. So yeah, these rooms have now been painted like 4 times, but that's okay. They are very, very white. So next week, the electrician will be finishing up in the kitchen. I'm not sure what's happening along those walls because we're gonna have a backsplash, and he was mentioning that typically these back panel things don't get mounted until after the backsplash is in or something. So not sure what's happening with that. But he will be back this week to work on it. And Francis and I have our extraction fan for the cooker mounted, so it's on like magnets. And it's a nice grill. So there's a tube, an extraction tube that goes up into the attic right now, but we might extend that to actually vent outside. In the dining room, the electrician started to kind of figure out what's going on in here. He pulled cables from the kitchen. And I don't think we're having too much done or too much changed in this room. So this might be one of the rooms that he will get done next week. But at the very least, the utility room, the kitchen, this closet, and the bedroom are supposed to be done. So in the bedroom, again, he started, getting the skeleton structures for the outlets. That outlet out there is actually for a projection screen, because this will be our bedroom and it's also going to be where the TV is. But we're having a projector, and then this outlet, so he had put it down here, so we're filling up that hole now. He moved it up there, and that outlet is going to power the screen that will live somewhere along the ceiling, and then we'll just bring it down when we rarely want to watch something. And the closet, not much is happening with the closet, but next week, basically it just needs lights and the light switch. And actually I think this tube is because we are thinking about putting an outlet here, which we could use for an iron or something like that. Toilet room and bathroom are going to happen a little later. And then the electrician is going to be working on this master closet here, so that we can actually start selectively turning on power to the house. So yeah, electrician work is started this week and is going to continue into next week. Outside, there isn't too much happening. The roofers came and got the rest of their stuff. I've been eating this. I actually thought originally they were tomatillos, but they're not. Apparently there's some sort of like ground cherry thing. But they're really tasty. The husks here end up turning like brownish. I don't have any samples because I've eaten them and cleaned. Oh, there's one over there actually. Yeah, I don't know exactly what this is, but the husks kind of turn this like brown color, and then inside there's a fruit typically. Yeah, so you can kind of see. Well, no, you can't see. There's like a yellow fruit in there. But yeah, they taste pretty good. So I've been eating those. There's not enough to really harvest them, but they're good snacks. I cleared out along here mainly because I'm trying to figure out what we're gonna do with this area here. Originally I was gonna kind of leave it and grow like berries or something, but it gets overrun with weeds incredibly quickly, as you can already see. So I'm thinking about actually just ripping it all out, but I'm not sure. Right now, they did this thing previously. So under here is a weed block, and then there's rocks, and then it has this like border. And this thing, I don't know what it is, but it gives flowers in the spring, which is kind of pretty. So for now, I'm thinking about keeping it, but there's a bunch of ivy on the bottom, which ends up growing like crazy. And there's actually a bramble in there as well that grows like crazy. So I did a lot of weeding in here, but I'm still not sure what I'm going to do. Over here, we still have a juniper and the brambles and the weeds and whatever else. And then we have the garden. So I think next week Francis is going to come out and weed whack again. And I know there's a bunch of roots in here from another juniper that we took the top off, but we didn't get the root out. So we may have somebody come with basically like a digger tool to take the roots out. And I may basically end up clearing this entire space and putting landscape fabric down so that I can selectively plant and try to avoid the weeds. Here, for sure, I'll be putting some landscaping fabric down in preparation for mulch, because we're going to kind of mulch an area around here, around the fig tree. And in the garden, everything's growing. The squash, the early squash leaves are starting to wither away, but my sunflowers come up. It's very pretty. Peppers. The tomatoes seem to be doing well. I sacrificed the 2 plants that were here that definitely had some sort of like fungus or something on them. And the other tomatoes seem to be doing okay. We harvested like 6 eggplants from that thing yesterday and made a ratatouille, so that was kind of cool. I don't know if you can see, but there's actually a lizard. Can I get in without scaring him? There's a lizard in the basil. That's kind of cool. Yeah. So I'm here today. I really need to clean up. I think I'm mainly going to be kind of just figuring out what's happening with the squash. And over there is my loofah plant, which is doing pretty well. And here we have cantaloupe, but we only have like one measly little thing that I don't think is doing too well. So I've never grown cantaloupe before, so that was kind of an experiment. This whole year has been a giant experiment. But that's where we're at. And sanitation starts next week. So I think I covered that right now. The sanitation's kind of over there by the house, and we'll be moving it to the north side of the house. So when he comes out, oh, look, there's like a dragonfly thing. It's kind of hard to see. Out in the garden, the squash is still a monster. It's still growing, so I'm just letting it do its thing. These are the loofah sponge squash, so we'll see what happens there. Unfortunately, my net tunnel started out pretty good, but something happened there, and apparently the plastic snapped. So yeah, I'll have to redo that and potentially think of something else. These were the small rods, which were specifically for beds like 18 inches to 24 inches or so. So I'm using them almost at the maximum, 24 inches, and they still snapped. So that's not ideal. I haven't really found, back at home, they just have like pretty thin PVC tubing that you can just bend and create tubes and tunnels and stuff. But I haven't really found an equivalent yet. And the ones that are actually made to be tunnel-like are really expensive. So I haven't been desperate enough to spend that kind of money. But we'll see. Yeah, we have a butternut squash there. That's almost done. And we definitely have some more. We have one behind that concrete thing, and we have a whole bunch of butternut and the Potmorian, like kabocha, I don't know, squash there. We have some more round zucchinis coming in down here, and I think there's some more over in that mess. I'm actually going to be really happy when the squash are done, because I really want them out of this bed. Putting them in a bed was definitely a mistake. Folks who plant these definitely should do the whole mound somewhere, stick some seeds in, and forget about them and let them do their thing. But live and learn. That's the garden.